but if you leave them, and that they will come out of it eventually.
And you can accept that other person so much more.
Yeah, so the big thing was about acceptance. It's very good, the Enneagram, with allowing you to accept each other as not perfect, but in what you are really. So yeah, the Enneagram has helped quite significantly.
Do you think then, have you come to the conclusion she's a 2-1 now, or are you still not there?
No, I don't know whether she's a 1-2. She's got the helper in her, because there are a lot of people in her life that she seems to do a lot for.
Okay.
But then she's very meticulous about things, a perfectionist, and very organised about things.
It's always useful to do that. What happens when she's in stress, and what happens when she's out of her ego completely.
Yeah. So
if she's a 2, she's going to move to 4.
Yeah, she did ask me.
And if she's a 1, she's going to move to 7.
Can you change your Enneagram over time? And I said, it's not about changing it. You
integrate your personality.
That's right. You move towards all the different.
And you have much more of the emergence of essence of the real you, not the ego you that thinks that it's in this wanting to get to be all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a feeling of that it's the dropping of the agenda, and then the essence of who you are is there. And so the beautiful parts of you can come to the fore. So with a 6, like myself, it's courage that can come. With a type 3, it's authenticity. They no longer need to prove their worth to other people. With 4s, it's that dropping of the envy and moving to equanimity and emotional balance.
That was one of the biggest things for me, emotional balance, and not being up and down all the time because of, and never just craving to just be on an even thing, which is, since finding somebody, they've not given it for me because I achieved it myself, but it's enabled me to kind of remain like that balance, and I'm not as up and down constantly, like highs and lows.
Which is what you were.
I was before. It was like I could never get a handle on myself because I was constantly up and down, and I wouldn't go as far to say that person has given me the emotional balance, because if they had done, I don't think that's not something healthy about
But
that.
you were getting so close to even more self-acceptance each and every time. The last time you see me, which was in February, you almost, I remember you saying, well, I don't know when I'll be coming again, because you really were, is that, what else can you help me with? But you would, this is when I'm coaching people, I'm helping them to coach themselves. And that you are continually using all the techniques, the Enneagram, the being grateful for all the bad that was in your life and transforming that. You were using some EFT and did a little NLP with you. You just didn't know I was using it at the time. But effectively it was all just to transform how you felt about you, because that was all about self-esteem, which is quite classic Enneatype 4 stuff. And also, just out of interest, just lastly, have you ever been labelled or diagnosed with depression, or because that up and down, that's a very typical thing with 4s. Even very unhealthy 4s diagnosed with bipolar.
I've never been labelled with any form of extreme depression, but I've been on with NHS counsellors and things like that, and they've said you are depressed as such. I mean, that's particular for every individual, but I have seen counsellors before I came to you that I felt was just really just talking about things.
So very simply, how would you sum up what I do compared to what counsellors do? Because
counsellors, it's just about, their big thing is cognitive therapy, and they always talk about, they think that if they can get you to recognise what it is that triggers everything, therefore your problems are solved and you will go away, and because now you have the knowledge of, this is what I'm in this state because of this is my reaction, therefore you'll be able to fix yourself. But it doesn't work like that. Whereas coming to you, although the Enneagram was a bigger thing than the EFT was quite a big thing, because it's a physical thing that, like the hypnotherapy that you actually do, that can kind of help you with those situations when they're really stressful. Because cognitive therapy, is enlightening as it is, when you're really anxious, saying to yourself, oh, well, I know where this has come from, isn't going to really help you out of a really awful, stressful situation. Whereas tapping and doing is a kind of, it's a physical thing that I think really helps. And then the Enneagram is a lot more revealing than it was a bit vague, I felt, with other counsellors. The Enneagram was quite specific, and it was a lot more enlightening about your personality, really.
And the way that I mentored you with it, because it's not just, oh, you're a type 4, go away and deal with it. How was it that I was able to help you in the mentoring aspect of it?
Well, yeah, because we'd had a discussion about what I was rather than you telling me I was this. Because we weren't sure whether I was a 4 or a 5, and you put the 5 on a CD, which was different people talking about their experiences, and I took that away and I listened to it. And you recommended books to me, which I both bought and read, and especially the one that's the Enneagram made easy, which is such a simple version of it.
Yeah, the yellow one with cartoons in it.
That one there.
Yeah, the one with cartoons.
And then you gave me the CD for the 4. So in between sessions, because I wasn't coming every single week, they were. I was thinking about what I was, and I was coming back to you and saying, "Oh, I think I'm this because of this relates to this point in my life." And so it was kind of a discovery together, rather than you labelling me and say you're this, even if you don't understand it.
I usually am able to see types, and it is offering it to people to understand. You go on your discovery. Do you recognise this? Do you see this in yourself? Because it is about self-discovery.
Yeah, because there were some bits that I didn't recognise. That other people might think that's what they are like as a 4 or a 5. But there were a lot of bits that I thought, yeah, that's me, and I can relate to that. But there were other things that came up, because I brought a lot of stuff to you, but then there were other things that came up in the sessions that I hadn't even considered, like things possibly my parents that we worked through, which I suddenly thought, oh, that's why our relationship is slightly like that, which I hadn't come to you with an issue really about it. It was just something that came up in conversation. So yeah, different things came out as the sessions progressed.
Because this is quite a long testimonial. There's so much information. It's wonderful. I really appreciate you coming back. Anything else you'd add?
Other than the continued communication between us, because it's been 6 months since.
You used to come about once every month to 6 weeks at one point, which made it very affordable, really, didn't it? Really.
Yeah, that's because you took into consideration my circumstances, and I paid for the 5 package at the beginning, and then afterwards I was coming every so months. And so that spread out like that, and the emails and everything enabled me to kind of bring more of my experiences to you, rather than having to have it done in a month.
Yeah.
So that was quite useful. Yeah. And even now, the continued communication over the 6 months, I can come back and I can tell you how it has helped. So I'd say that was quite useful, because you don't get that from. You don't get that on the NHS, really. You just get an appointment form.
Yes, yeah, and that's not, and they do a good job. I mean, there's something there, and I think everybody finds it. I had 4 years of counselling, and it was useful at one point, and I reached a certain level of understanding, but I knew there was another path, and I went down this.
Yeah, I wouldn't. So. I'm not criticising counselling, but for me personally, it was very useful up until a point. So it only went so far, and I couldn't really go any further with it there.
And here you are now, having understood your personality, much more self-acceptance, and the bonus is you're in a relationship, and it has been a bonus because you weren't actively, really desperately searching for someone to complete you. She's more complemented your life rather than completed you.
It's a relationship more on acceptance than trying to fit in with somebody and be something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.